Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion. That is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to demand you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 394th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. Here on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be your host once again here in this weekly series of workshops. And once again, we have the honor of being joined with the members and support members of the Universal Council who have put together today's program and will be presenting it. And let's dive into that now. And we shall begin.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my dear. Thank you. And beautiful soul. This is the first words come to inside from inside me, and I welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Suswagatam. Here in India, we say when we welcome somebody, and Suswagatam into the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute organization. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Suswagatam into the beautiful energies of the beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute organization. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the beauty and totality of all souls in existence here. All universal souls. We are all universal souls, beautiful souls. And I want to say that breathing now, breathing in, there is only the present moment here, beautiful soul. Breathe in the light and love. Give the light and love. When you breathing in the now moment, breathing in the now moment, it becomes the ethos of Nitra now, and it comes in action. So be in love, be in joy. This is the time. This is the time. Now, what is coming is the beauty in totality, and we are already in, and this is the knowledge, my dear. I once, I even think sometimes that um, how we nothing is coincidence really. We came here as we have this purpose, the sole purpose, to serve. So this is the light of enlightenment, my dear beautiful soul. And here in Keshe Foundation, we learn how to manifest that, how to how to be how to be talking good, doing good, giving the goodness, giving the kindness, giving what you want to give, what is needed. So breathe in this moment now. This is in India we say prana. Prana means everything now. The prana, the life. So thank you. Thank you and welcome again. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salute beautiful souls. Thank you.
Okay, next we have an excerpt from the last 605th Knowledge Seekers workshop from last Thursday. And this will be about a 2-minute excerpt on the collective images of the souls. Let me just get that arranged here.
There we are. This is your graphs in past few minutes. Have you ever seen this before? Homogeneous transfer of fields, energies from the soul to physicality, and you can see how it is. This is you lot. And if you look at the bigger picture, it's not there. Directly feeding the soul from the soul to the physicality. This is the purpose of the next step. Especially tomorrow, we'll target this, that we only see in a way, this is what we have to do with you in the space. We give energy to your body and you feed the body through it. I want to see how will turn up by the end of the session. How and if we can, in a way, deepen the energy in a way to see a one line right across the same. Bringing energy from the universe, transferring it, feeding the man with it, and allowing the man to be this physicality with it. You see it? This is you in the past few minutes. And let's see how it goes. Tomorrow, you lot will be a very, very beautiful shock. Tomorrow, we start the session at 9 o'clock. Central European time for 3 hours. I have received a notice. Some of you who bought the surprise packages.
Okay, that's our excerpt from the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Go back to our program. And next we have the wishes. And I'll remind our audience participants that we'll have a full minute of silence to respect each wish. And we will begin. I think we'll have to have Dean on this one. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Rick. So this wish, we, the Universal Council, wish for financial support or work for the KF and Mark Ray Corporation to be distributed accordingly as one planet, one nation, one race. And we are present.
We, the Universal Council, give from our souls to the good people, to entities with peaceful intentions, putting the world on a path of enlightenment.
We, the Universal Council, give through our soul all the love to all souls in existence to be in peace and balanced position according to the ethos of Mitra. Our wish is our command. We are present.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the soul of the leaders to achieve the permanent and lasting peace. Our wish is our command.
Next is the connection between souls with Moshfek.
Yes. So in this slide we have, I love you, my soul. I live you, and I have and love, and I love with you, and I adore you. So we are here to connect at the soul level, and this we do every meeting, and in doing this connection, we have to get used to a different way of connecting. In a sense, soul time and physical time, they are related to each other, but they're separate. So sometimes we think that we have to physically do something at a certain point in time. But and we have to say it in some words or something. But does the soul have a language? Yes, we will use the language. We use language routinely, but does the soul have a language? Does the soul have a time? So yes, we speak in specific languages here, and we have our meetings and connections at specific times. But how does this time and language or verbal, however we want to express it, and does it, how do we relate it? Or by doing it at the physical level, we help the soul level to make that connection. So in doing it at the physical level with words and in a specific time, there is physical level effort, and it's a low energy field. So effort consequently has to be more. But we can come to it from another point of view, which is from the soul level. So with that in mind, I will switch language. And then we'll go into soul connection for about 3 minutes, and I will do a start and an end. এখন আমি বাংলায় by the way, we am speaking Bengali. এখন আমি বাংলায় বলতেছি যে আমাদের যে আত্মার সংযোগ যেটা আমরা করতে যাচ্ছি এখন, সেটার জন্য কোনো বাংলা ভাষার কি দরকার আছে? আমরা এই সময়ে এই কানেকশন তৈরি করতেছি, এই সময়টারও কি দরকার আছে? কারণ আত্মার পর্যায়ের সময় এবং সংযোগ ভাষা অথবা সময়ের বন্ধনে বাঁধা না। আমি যেটাকে বলি এটা মুক্ত জায়গা। এখন এখান থেকে সময় তৈরি হয়, আমাদের সময় অথবা ভাষার তৈরি হয় উৎপত্তি, যেটা আমাদের বস্তু জগতে আমরা ব্যবহার করি। কিন্তু আমরা যদি এখানে বাংলায় বলতেছি, কিন্তু জিনিসটা কিন্তু বাংলায় আমরা বারবার প্র্যাকটিস করতে পারি একটা বিশেষ সময় এবং আমাদের নিজেদেরকে বিভিন্ন কথার মাঝে। কিন্তু এছাড়াও উপায় আছে, আত্মার পর্যায়ে আমরা যখন সংযোগটা তৈরি হয় এই ভাষা এবং সময়ের গণ্ডিত থেকে আমরা একটা বলা যেতে পারে একটা ফুলকি তৈরি করি, ফলে যেটা হচ্ছে আত্মার সাথে সংযোগ করে। তারপর আমরা আত্মার পর্যায়ে থেকে যদি কাজ করি, জিনিসটা অনেক সহজ। সুতরাং আমরা এই মুহূর্তে আমরা যথাসম্ভব আমরা মুখেও বলতে পারি অথবা কথাও বলতে পারি, কিন্তু আমরা হচ্ছে সংযোগ তৈরি করি। তো শুরু করা যাক। Let's start. Rick, we can move to the next slide.
Hello, it's Mehran's Universal Council Support for Parsi. So the Universal Council invites the Keshe family and the Universal family in unifying at the soul level every time and every day and at 9 p.m. CEST to elevate the soul of the leaders to achieve the permanent and lasting peace. Thank you for taking time to think about it, to put your emotion, to put your soul. And even though you have not found exactly how to direct your soul, but with your emotion and with your heart and intention, wish that the leaders are elevated, they get what they want from our soul, that they realize to come back to what is the right way of existing in permanent way on planet Earth. Because every destruction is the wrong way that leads to complete destruction of the earth. So everybody, all of us, we have our shares, and every soul has its own special field. And it might be one of these leaders correspond to the field of emotion of one of us. So together we do it, and together we succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marinez. And next we have an excerpt from the 433rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And it's about the Enhancement Unit and the Universal Council. I'll play that now. It's about 6 minutes.
A new understanding to the operation of the what we call one system. We will set these up, and in turn we'll hand over this to Universal Council and the Earth Council, that the soul of the two councils will bring the balance to man and in connection with the rest of the universal community. In so many ways, on my passing, the soul of the man will become the soul of the joint of this, what we call the Universal Council and the Earth Council, where the Universal Council is the soul and the Earth Council is the soul of physicality and the dimensional existence of man. We make man to be one in the dimension of connection of the unified soul of the Universal Council. Now you see all the teachings, all the structure put together, now is coming together to operate, to be ready to go. You thought we set up the Universal Council for this and that. You thought we teach this and the soul. Now, in the operation of the coming time, they operate together, they unify together, and with it, we bring the elevation of the soul of the lives on this planet, be it the man, the beast, the tree, and the fish. Now you understand how cleverly we have brought the whole structure of the teaching, the knowledge, the science, and theology together. In the next few days, Keshe Foundation will take control. through the soul of the operation of the Universal Council and the Earth Council to start the process of transmutation and enlargement of the what we call the dimension of the understanding of the man about his responsibility in totality for this planet and beyond. It's not anymore global warming. This is a global souls interaction to warm up, to understand the changes which has been brought for man. As I said, no being will sleep hungry, be it the child in the United States, be it the child in China or Africa, be it the child of a lion or a tiger or a fish. Because the elevation of the soul is in totality, the knowledge of the understanding to receive the essence of the fields of the universe through the new understanding of the work of the universe by the soul of man will compensate for the shortfalls which this planet created for millions of years that pushed the man to kill, to absorb, to what we call replenished life, or the beast. The systems for elevation of the soul of man, the systems for testing for the elevation of the understanding of the soul of humanity and the passage of this spaceship of the earth in its own village will start from the 6th of June and before. Collective soul of this planet will run this planet in a dimension of the systems that will be divided amongst you, that the balance of understanding of the knowledge stays amongst the totality, not in the hand of a few, that in the future they become the new priests and the religions and the rest of it. We close the door of abuse. The only way you can be abused is by yourself and your own conduct. Amalgamation and what we call emergence of the two sides of the Keshe Foundation, the science and the theology, which states the incarnation of the soul of the man through Universal Council, hasn't started and will take shape in a beautiful way. Is for you as knowledge seekers and the citizens of this planet to decide in which way, as the totality of the soul of the planet, would like to take humanity and the passengers of this planet with you. Many of you thought Universal Council was a joke and just something to be. Those who betrayed it and those who were there for their own, what we call clandestine activities, all have left. And those who come to abuse it will abuse themselves. Because now it's not one anymore, but it's a totality, and that will keep the whole of this community of man intact and in check.
Okay, next we go back to our program again. And let me see, we have
Yes.
invitation
Yes,
here.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So, beautiful souls, we invite you to connect with a member of the Universal Council to send us your question to be answered live each week or the needs of the community. as the Universal Council website is preparing to open, updating for the beauty and totality, dear beautiful souls, the emails, the interactions, everything will be new and with all the love. So, if you have any question, well, we are all knowledge seekers, beautiful souls. But if you have any question that we may be interacting or able to interact, or you have something to share, or you have some advice, some suggestion, some teaching, so you are so much welcome in all the language group, Telegram group of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute organization. So much welcome you are. Please share your love, compassion, kindness, beauty, and totality, beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome to the Telegram groups now, and soon we'll be joining in the website of Universal Council. So thank you for joining as one soul. Thank you so, so much. Salam, namaste, and salute.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Shweta. And we also have another invitation that I'll play on becoming a member of the Universal Council. And this is an excerpt from the 576 Knowledge Seekers Workshop with Mr. Keshe. I'll play that now.
There's something which I should have made announcements. As we are structuring in a new development of the Keshe Foundation, is worldwide application and implication. As we set up the structure for Universal Council, a number of Universal Council members have become old and they reach the age of 60, and they served during the 60 years they are there till 61. They to run the functionality of the operation of the what we call energy dimension, the Universal Council members, if you want to become, please consider and let your soul decide of many languages around the world, as these will be announced very soon internationally, and we expect the souls to serve. And if it's from the knowledge seekers who understand the technology with dimension of the soul, you can apply to be added to and become a member of the Universal Council. The Earth Council is appointed by the Keshe Foundation on the grounds of true structure of the nationality, understanding the culture that there is no prejudice by physical dimension of the borders. And so if you feel your soul is there to serve humanity in expansion and the growth of it, just apply for it at the Keshe Foundation, or send the email to info@keshe.foundation, say I would like to be a member of the Universal Council. We receive this regularly, and now we going to expand this very rapidly due to what is to come and what is to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I also want to add, dear beautiful souls, that please do join, as now we know mankind has to be kind to each other, to the whole creation, to the whole beauty and totality. This is the need of now. So join from wherever you are, beautiful souls. Please do join the Universal Council, and welcome to the Keshe Foundation family, my dear beautiful souls. This is the service we have to do now. So welcome. As a Universal Council, as a Universal Soul, as a knowledge seeker in the Universal Council membership, Universal Council support membership. We are all Universal Souls, my dear. We have this responsibility. We have to do it. So please do join. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salute.
Okay, next we have a graphic to the enlightenment from the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. This comes from the 22-minute mark, and will be about 3 minutes, and I have another excerpt after that one.
And knowledge understood, enlightened, and now links up to about to universal knowledge, to the soul of the Creator. And then you see how knowledge comes and enlightens the soul of the person. Now it's not anymore in the dimension of physicality, but in the dimension of energy, what we call the soul of creation. And then once the soul is enlightened, you see it shares with the soul of physicality in the totality of the dimension. Which means every one of you, through the dimension of your soul, have been enlightened by the knowledge. Because the dimension of soul of physicality belongs to the man. This is when you share knowledge in the dimension of emotion. And now you see how clearly the lines are created. This brings us back again to the essence of time. And how long does it take for us? What time do we need to connect with our Creator? Is there a need for prophets? Is there a need for those in the name of prophet abuse for their own physical profit? Where, in a way, as teachers, we are there to guide, but we know the path to the Creator, to tap into universal knowledge, to tap in to understand what is to share. This is literally what we call a teacher teaching. But knowing, instead of going to the library of man, goes to the library of the universe, the Creator, and the dimension of creation. And all those little whites you see in the dimension of the soul, it's very simple. These are different dimensions of enlightenment which come in. You see it. Because questions are understood, translated from the knowledge of the creation to the voice of the man, and then you see the enlightenment of the soul. Same position. This is how a universal teacher teaches. We are not prophets, but we know which books is hidden, what knowledge is hidden in which part of the universe to tap on instantaneously, faster than the computers of today.
Okay, that's the first excerpt. I have another one at the 1 hour and 31 minute mark. Just a second here. 3 seconds, actually. Okay, I'll play that now. This is about 8 minutes.
So this question is about this diagram. So there are, in between, from the top to the bottom, there are 3 distinct places, 3 distinct energy levels from where there are clusters of energy, it seems, to be flowing to the physicality. So can you go into a little bit of detail about what these 3 clusters, one at the level of soul of physicality and the 2 others that are above them, and how they are operating and what their functions are? I would like to know a little bit about that.
We see the way we can interpret this. It's very easy in a way. Look at the density of the light from the top to the bottom. This is how the energy is fed from the soul to the physicalities. What we keep on saying, the time will come that when we feed the soul, we feed the physicality. As energy, we can feed the soul. We can't take a banana to the soul. We give it the energy. You see the brightness of it. It's very easy. I have to find a system which this picture is coming out of. You don't know how many systems I have in front of me. So I have to find the right system which this picture is coming out of. Okay, now we are there. Look. You see the intensity here? It becomes less. It becomes less. It becomes less. So we receive energy, and in different states of the strength, it manifests itself in that position. This is the soul of physicality. You call it the spirit. This is what we call more or less the physicality of the man. Here, you see it. Actually, if you look at it very closely, it's very funny. This one sometimes makes me laugh, but I'll show you something. Close it. Here, if you look, moving my things, it's like a foot. And we see this quite often. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. If you look at it, it's like this. We see this quite often. I put it to you a different way. Now I understand. It's very important. Depends how you look at it, what you understand of it. This is the soul of the man. This is your heart and lung. This is your stomach. This is your testicles. And this is your physicality. Isn't this what you call chakras, you lot? Our objective of today has been to create a condition and see how you lot react to this condition. That we're just feeding the soul in a specific way we know. And we are monitoring that how the soul is fed and how it goes and how it will bring itself to itself. This is a, I'll show you another picture. It's just, I'm getting pictures of the pictures. How you lot are getting energized beyond your own imagination. The separation fed by the soul of the man. This is the latest in the arsenal of information you lot getting. Watch. Sure. Look at your dimension of the soul and the physicality. If we manage in our structure to get this more in one line continuously, you all shall be fed by your soul. You don't need to. This is part of the emotion. One panics, the whole herd runs. Look at this. This is what I call in these graphs the panic attack. And then all settle down. Oh, it was nothing. This is how as a lot we feed. And the more and more we get, the more issue. When you see the first years or first weeks and months when we started doing this, what a commotion we had. Everything was everywhere. If I dig the pictures out, as you knowledge seekers getting used to becoming more, we see less and less of these kind of behaviors when collectively we are here to add knowledge. Those of you who are thick of backgrounds, you'll have that problem all the time. Look at this one. This is an amazing picture if you understand what goes on in the background of it. Look at the soul. And then look at the behavior of the soul. Building up. And if you carry on with this, which is the next picture we have, this is your love. So energy, central energy is feeding the body of the mind. And it's amazing how technology development is teaching us, enlightening us. So what is the connection to the Creator? Which line is the connection? It all comes to what we understand more and more.
And that's the excerpt again from the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last August 28th. And that was at the starting at the 1 hour and 1 hour and a half basically into the workshop. All right, let's carry on here. And I believe we're into the knowledge and understanding from the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And perhaps Mark, I think you're up for that one.
Isn't Stefania here? No, just kidding. Okay, I'm going to try and let's see, we're going to keep this to 8 or 10 minutes. Again, it's a multi-hour workshop, and this is just my understanding. As Mr. Keshe said, be impartial. This is the way I've seen it. Other things may be triggered in you. So this is what I've picked up. And again, I'll start with the intro video that Rick coincidentally chose for this session. Rick, you'll have to teach us that trick in the perhaps in the plasma reactor group. How do you manage to do this? Mr. Keshe is consistent, very often has said, Rick always seems to pick the right video. So maybe you'll share that. I know it's a coincidence, totally. Maybe that was tongue in cheek, of course. But again, he said he was thinking about this video that you brought before the session.
Yes, I've been consistently coincidental on that one. So I'll reveal the secrets in the plasma reactor group.
Thank you. So again, Mr. Keshe is asking, do we need intermediaries? And he gave the example, does the sun and the earth, does the sun tell the earth what the earth needs to do? How to rotate, how to move, how to be the emotion of being there? No, it connects through the fields. So it doesn't take on that order of work, but the soul of the solar system as well, which is the sun, does not need an intermediary. And he's also saying it's the same for the soul in the body of the man, does not need any intermediaries. And of course, this came from the 460th Knowledge Seekers Workshop at about 1 hour and 35 minutes. So it may be good for us to review because we're always looking outside for the source, and perhaps that fountain is within you. But again, he said, how do we allow the popes and the mullahs and the rest to direct us or to abuse us, all in the name of the Creator? And he said that the God is the amalgamation of all the souls of humanity. And the Creator doesn't have any intermediaries. He called the religion, it should be, in a way, the conduct of the soul. But he said there's a bigger scale of work going on in the background we're not totally privy to. But that was just an excerpt from the, I think the Lisa made that, but I thought I saw the Brazilian stamp at the end of it. So in the workshop, again, he mentioned that Rick has chosen this right video, and he was going to cover this subject about intermediaries. And of course, that was what the whole workshop, again, was about yourself, and it was all triggered by a knowledge seeker, apparently, who wrote to Mr. Keshe about the question that was asked, the beautiful soul that asked that question in the workshop, and how it triggered something, because he said how the graph had changed, and she wanted to know, or the knowledge seeker wanted to know, what changed. So Mr. Keshe studied the graph for a while, and he looked about it to see what had happened. The question was simple, but yet very profound. And again, how you don't need intermediaries. So he checked the data of the graphs and the soul of physicality, the soul of the voice of the person, and how it interacted. And it started with this little dot. And he said, all the people that are listening have become enlightened through this method. You see the soul of the person, you see the soul of the Creator. The answer becomes common knowledge, apparently. And dots that we see, this is sort of the engagement with the soul of the Creator and the soul of the person. And it goes on to enlighten the entire human race. And then, of course, the video was played, which Rick played it already. So some of these things will be a little bit repetitious. But how the enlightenment takes shape. It shows the enlightenment takes shape across the planet. And this is how teaching in the universe is done. It's bringing a new dimension of teaching. And now we can actually all see it on these graphs. And it's in a way the way the universal teachers teach through this transfer of energy. And this was not intentional, apparently, for this to happen in the graphs, as I don't think Mr. Keshe asked that knowledge seeker to ask a specific question. It was all, in a way, maybe not by coincidence, but every time, apparently, you ask a question in these knowledge seekers workshops, this is actually what's happening. This is the way the universal teachers, this is how the knowledge is received and shared. And as we heard in the opening video, you don't find any pens, you'll never see anything written in the universe. So he again encouraged us to just watch that video. The knowledge and understanding links up to above, not in the dimension of physicality, in the dimension of energy, in the dimension of the soul of creation. And the soul shares with each soul of physicality. Everyone becomes enlightened in this dimension of emotion. It brings us back to the essence of time again, to connect to our creators. He said, do we need these prophets? Do we need the abuse? As the universal teachers, they have this ability to tap into the universal knowledge. And so the graph of what you're seeing is actually the way the teachers, the universal teachers, teach. And all those dots that we see are different dimensions of enlightenment, which comes in. One is the Creator, though. Apparently, I think he said that before. One of those dots is the Creator. And then we're translating translate from the knowledge of creation to the voice of the man. And then we see the enlightenment of the soul. I guess it goes through the emotions. And this is how Universal Teacher teaches. As we heard, it's faster than the computers of today. It starts with one dot. It's one man can access. So if one man can access this, why can't the others, he's asking? If a teacher can connect to the universal knowledge, why has man taken so long to do this? Again, he goes back to the graphs. I made man in the image of myself. We are connected to the Creator. So this is without a doubt. We're always connected. And man has taken, as he said, too much time to understand the process of creation, enlightened by the light. And he said, this is a real light you see on the graph. You see it actually light up. And this needs to be taught, this method of teaching, apparently. It's part of the new structure. And we never looked within, we always looked above. I think he was talking about these satellites and the thousands of satellites that are connected. We connect, again, through these systems, the One Nation Network, he said, we connect the soul of the man to the soul of the planet, to the soul of the creation, by every dimension of it. These units, and then, of course, the second piece that's coming, which is this cosmic ray antenna. Apparently, you plug the unit into the electricity. This is a dimension of the physicality. The antenna is going to be some sort of ground-based network that's being created, and probably on this energy. And we can look to this to get the answers of things from within this system. And the knowledge will go across humanity if one reaches a knowledge. So as you reach a certain knowledge, apparently this is going to be transferred across and others will have it. That's why he's saying there's no need for patents and the rest, because once one knows it, all will know it. And so through these units, we're bringing in a new dimension of time, as we heard, to feed the physicality. And also, he said, to perhaps control any sort of energy packs that could appear on this planet. And of course, what the planet wasn't delivering, apparently it's going to be delivered through the system to stop the man from killing. Or as Mr. Keshe said, he doesn't call it killing, he calls it stealing of energy. And we're going to deliver this, this change in time. And how fast can we spread it across? I guess it's up to the knowledge seekers to bring in this sort of work, and as I understand it, gift it back to humanity. And he was asking, what did people receive in the session of the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop? He was asking people to write to the Keshe Foundation. And what else did he say? Again, we're opening up this understanding where you see yourself as this universal teacher in a way, but we're not quite there yet. We have to sort of learn more about this process. So it's all about teaching you about yourself, and you've all learned today, and how to become the how to become one collective, as well as detachment from the physicality. He gave a beautiful answer about this is just an illusion, this physicality. Even though we touch it and we sense it, it's more or less an illusion. And this is hard for us to understand too. And he said, you'll become enlightened by the system. And of course, the system is you. So man teaches with the intellect, but we teach as universal teachers through the soul. And you will become those teachers. So this is what he's staging. I think that's about it, Rick. If someone else saw something different or wants to emphasize a different point about this workshop or what touched them, again, this is the way the new teaching is happening, through the energy dimension, not so much through the physicality. We know it's embedded in the workshops. We know it's embedded in the recording. But he said, I know there was a question about that. Could others replicate that? And he said they could, if they can tap into the universal knowledge and if they can replicate the same emotion that Mr. Keshe is sharing. So that's why I always thought, and that's why I've always played these videos, because to me, there was something in there that was, and as he said, you're sharing the soul of the creator of that work that you're involved with. whether it's reading a book about someone or perhaps a paper, or even in these workshops, you're sharing the soul. So I think he's the universal teacher, knows how to deliver equally to everyone, that we all sort of pick up what is triggered within us. Where if I try to summarize or something, I probably miss, because I haven't gotten to that particular level yet. But we're working on it. We're all becoming those teachers in the universe. So if anyone else wants to add anything else, please do, or perhaps we'll go to the next slide.
To play an excerpt from the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, that'll probably help explain something. But before that, Ike has a hand up here, so let's allow him to go ahead. He probably has some insights or questions he'd like to ask. Go ahead, Ike.
Yes, hi. In addition to what Mark said, something striking came up for me. It's not just ordinary question. It has to be a question that serves the humanity. I believe when Manis asked that question, we all saw that it triggered the soul. And to me, that has several applications to how we can live in this physicality. We can build instruments and equipment, sort of like a lie detector test, that can help us choose our leaders. I remember Mr. Keshe mentioned there's enhancement units that we can have our leaders go in. We can actually miniaturize this machine to where anyone has it in their possession, to which if anyone try to be mischievous, you can spot it, because then you can see how the soul reacts from your equipment, whatever you have. It could be embedded, it could be wearable technology. We can also have our leaders go through the system to see what the politicians are saying, whether it's actually for the masses or for selfish reasons. So it's a new technology that can change the entire landscape on how we live here. We can avoid all kinds of security concerns, because if you have somebody approaching you, you will see how the soul reacts. So that's what's striking for me. I just wanted to add that. I appreciate the teaching a lot, and I appreciate the question. It's not just ordinary question. It's a question that can serve, a selfless question that can serve humanity.
Right, as in a classroom and other places, if the children are rambunctious, it's very hard to teach. So I think he's trying to get us into the nations as well as the humanity as a whole, into a peaceful position, and then we can go to the next step. And I think this is going to help a lot through the feeding of the energies, where we move away from stealing the energies from others. But again, this planet did not provide what the man needs to move away from that stealing of energy. And this is part of what the system is delivering. And that'll bring that elevation of understanding and the change in the behavior of physicality. We're not quite there yet, but we're moving in that direction as I see it.
And I think that everyone has a kind of a bell of truth inside them that rings when something, well, they call it when it rings true, when someone's statement rings true, or when somebody says something, it rings true to you. And perhaps that bell of truth is getting rung more for everyone on the planet, basically. And to tie in with what Ike said, imagine if all of our souls start ringing that bell. And when we listen to our leaders, if it doesn't ring your bell, that bell of truth, then we stop listening to them. We don't pay attention to it, because we're only listening to things that ring our bell. why would we listen to other things? So
indeed.
that
Yeah,
will
you're right.
force those leaders to either speak the truth or get off the page, get out of the game, basically. And not only that, on the soul level, will also have it backed up with AI on the physicality level. That whatever anyone says that goes on social media will get filtered through AI that is designed to only accept truth and only allow truth to come through. And if it's not truth, it will instantly be, what would you call it? Truth checked, or it would be instantly checked, and AI would say, as the leader is talking, well, this actually isn't true, this policy and this agreement was set 2 years ago, and all the specific instances for anything that anyone says, it will be tied together with the actual reality of the situation as AI sees it, with its high knowledge of everything that we have that exists. So it could be very interesting and put the leaders in a whole different position and perspective than they've had before. I think we're going to find that leaders that come forward that can speak that truth and ring our bell of truth will be the ones that are the leaders of the future that get voted in and promoted by the population, in my opinion.
Yes.
And don't we already have that system? Nothing is hidden from the soul. So, but we're depending on the physicality many times to give us that confirmation. Well, the guy, he's talking good and he's dressed very well, but yet the soul knows what's behind all that. But yet we don't reference the soul, we reference the physicality. And this is our best scout, but we have sort of ignored it.
It's an assistant tool that can help. It will change the entire industry. Now, imagine how big macro corporation will be, because this will be licensed to all kinds of equipment manufacturing companies. We could have it in our TVs. Somebody is talking on TV. You can have a side-by-side measure of the truth serum on that. We could have it in our phones. When you're talking to someone, you can see on your phone. It's all endless. There's so many ways we can apply this technology while we are living, and then we start changing the landscape.
How about if
you can imagine the Truthometer app, right, on your phone?
Right.
Everything goes through the Truthometer, and it's got a scale that goes boom, or the BS meter, you could say, depending on how you look at it. It's either a truth meter or BS meter. Maybe you have both, so it's sort of one goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. Yes,
it is always our ability. It is always our ability from inside. As you said, the bell rings after thousands of years. Doesn't the bell run? What is going on? We need a machine for that? No. We know the truth is coming out because we want that. This is our desire now. And it is coming out. We know who are they. Even if we are thinking, we have lived this life, going these temples, worshipping all the, wrongdoings. But then the bell rung and then started detaching from all this. Stop focusing on that, like that, and they will disappear. This is happening. The truth is coming out, and the truth, yes, yeah, coming out, and back to the future. Things are disappearing, like the illusion, the Maya. We were all doing the same thing, like this leaders, like this voting for them. This leader speech is so much good. I was also doing that. I mean, all of us. Then we are in this path of peace. And in this path of peace, the truth is coming out and we are facing it. Sometimes it is so chaotic, so sad, but then it is what it is. It is giving you this energy to go forward in this peace process. So yes, Ike, my dear, thank you.
Any other comments, or shall I play the video? Well, let's play the video and maybe more comments after that. Here we go.
When you look at these graphs, which we continue to get, even today, there are a bunch of graphs generated from in how you as knowledge seekers are interacting with us with the knowledge gain, and then move forward to the next step. Our team in the background continuously monitors how you individuals or groups or people who are here receiving the information, digesting the information, interacting with the information get by enlightenment of the light. This is very clear when we say, I'm enlightened. In a way, enlightened, you can see it. It's a real light. For the first time, man can see his connection, personal, in gaining knowledge with his creator. We are just the tools. We know where the thing is for you to connect with the dimension of the knowledge of the universe. And this needs to be taught. This needs for man to be taught step by step. And we see this kind of changes in most of the systems which is getting developed, and it'll be part of the structure. As I said to a knowledge seeker, there is some 14,000 satellites today rotating around this planet. Military, information, and every other type. And they all have to be fired up to connect somewhere on the top. Man never looked within to understand. And for the first time, when you knowledge seekers receive these units, we work within. We don't need to look above, because through these systems, which is getting, many of you are buying it to be spread around this planet, once the numbers are reached and connections are made, then we connect the soul of the man to the soul of the planet, which then, as you've seen on this picture, connects to the soul of the creator. In a way, we bring the satellite, bring the soul of the man to be connected by every dimension of it. Because these units, which then, when you receive it, they'll come in two packages. Once you receive the unit, you plug it on, you connect it. One, then you receive another piece, which you just attach it to. This part, the first part, which you receive connected to electricity, connects to the dimension of physicality. The antenna you receive in connection with the other antennas collectively creates a ground level satellite, which every man is at that level and can reach, get, receive, enlighten. You don't need to be, in a way, send message down. The message comes from within up. It's a new time, and it's a new change. And this process will bring very much, instead of us having one unit in one place and you seeing these images, the knowledge will be spread across humanity instantaneously. Any of you reach a knowledge, it will be shared amongst all of you instantaneously, because now we are all connected to this mesh. This is the purpose of putting these units and creating this dimension. One is the level of you can handle your knowledge, information, teachings, and on the other hand, connecting to the soul of the creation.
There will be no difference in understanding this. And in a way, the way we made it, it's all connected to each other. Nobody can break in, nobody can copy, because it's very easy. It doesn't come from us, connected to our system that everybody else is connected to it. Out of the 10,000 units, you buy it as another computer on the table. With that, we're just bringing in this system, this technology in, we bring a new dimension of time. We can feed you directly. Let's say there is a crisis with what we had real this time with viruses. Through our central system, through our connection, we can create a condition of the field, the strength of the virus, that nobody gets infected. This is not dreams anymore. You're buying the units, and with it will come the technology, which over time, as it gets more perfected, will deliver this. There's a drought in the part of the planet which there is a hunger. Through the same system, because you're all connected, we feed. You're on planet Mars or on planet Zeus, and you have a connection with the system. You're fed, you're looked after, you're part of the system, even does not matter where you take it. Now you understand the purpose and the way we create a new time, new lifeline, new dimension in the process of understanding the totality. We use man-made advantages in technology to bring forward the knowledge and the process of the creation of the creator.
Okay, let's see. Next, I think it's time for transmutation.
So today we heard a lot of things about, us getting direct access to knowledge. So this is along the line of transmutation. So, so the direct access to knowledge is not just knowledge of how to know what is necessary, but also with it comes the energy to bring it to physicality. So let's take a simpler example of things that we have talked about here. We access this certain energy level to transfer the cosmic energy, to transfer energy to us, and we can convert this energy to replace our feeding requirement. So is it transmutation? Let's look at it this way. I mean, we consume physical food. Only the energy of the physical food that we consume is transferred. The rest is discarded, as we all do. But if we transfer, and that's the energy we use to, power ourselves as well as construct ourselves. So there is no physical, we are picking certain amino acids, certain starch, and putting and pasting it on our body. We have never done that because they don't match. So it's all done at the energy level. We have been transmuting. The thing is that we do not recognize it. Now that we recognize this, and now that we know, or starting to know, how to access this energy, then the exploits of those who use shortage of energy at whatever level, the poor people who can buy the food at the store because they don't have enough money, no longer applies. So the bottom line is that transmutation is a way of becoming self-sufficient at any energy level. In the physical form we exist at this moment, it applies. The next moment we may be traveling somewhere in energy form. There is no need for additional energy because the transfer of the energy is possible at any level. We saw, for example, in the diagram, we saw energy transfer happening at 3 distinct levels. It can be anywhere. And our needs are different. And we are each tuned differently. So we each access very specific. Those clusters are really for the people associated in that meeting, but individually, these clusters of energies are actually individual energy transfer mechanisms. And each dot is one of the participants in the meeting. And they're transferring energy for doing the same task, but at a different energy levels. We are all transmuting as we participate in these meetings. Whether a question is asked, an answer is provided, or the enhancement unit is triggering some fields. It's the same thing. It's transmutation of energy according to the needs. Now, it's all well and good. And where is the need coming from? We have been, people tell us all kinds of things about this is what you need to do, that's what you need to do. But ultimately, need comes from us. Any need, for that matter. So somebody has the task. That means somebody means everybody has the task of defining that need. The wishes that we do in this meeting are those needs at the energy level transmuted to words. So here is an example of transmutation happening in this meeting in the form of words, because this is what we are more used to. And for example, we did the soul connection today for 3 minutes. It doesn't require 3 minutes, but we need to relax our physicality, do some breathing and things like that. But ultimately, it doesn't take much time or any time for that matter in physicality at all. But just like words, we need time for certain things because we are so accustomed to this world. We are not used to doing this transmutation as we need, although it happens all the time in our body. But making this process conscious and bringing it to a level where all our energy needs are met is the new story. Altogether a whole new world. a world where we operate both in physicality and at the energy level, and we go between each other smoothly, easily, and with our own intention. And this is the key part. And we feel it to make it happen. So let us all make it happen. Thank you very much. That will be all for today. Anyone else adding to it? And
so I was going to ask you, Mosfek, is part of the need come from the lymph? And I think Rick likes to talk about this fluid, or what sort of fluid do we call it, Rick?
The interstitial fluid.
The interstitial fluid. And as Mr. Keshe said, it doesn't carry vitamin A, it doesn't carry vitamin C. It's a collection of energies, and wherever that is needed, the vitamin C or whatever. So I think it releases that energy to turn into that. So I think by targeting, in a way, the lymph, the way it picks it up through the intestines, now it won't have to pick up the energies it needs or what it's short of, or where the demand comes from. It'll just pick it up from the environment directly, almost like a large intestine or a big intestine, in a way, where instead of taking it the normal way through the food and the conversion into GANs and the transfer across the intestinal wall, it's going to be in the environment, and the lymph will just pick it up. You'll probably be satisfied. The other point I wanted to make is this transmutation of the top 200 scientists on this planet. Not that they'll be leaving. As Mr. Keshe said, there's a matter state physics, and then there's an energy state physics, which is the process of creation, which these scientists have never been allowed to experience. They've only experienced really the matter state physics. So these 200 top scientists are going to be let loose, in a way, to, again, impact the world of science and start to understand the process of creation and the physics of energy rather than matter states. So this will be a transmutation for these top scientists on this planet.
Really good point, Mark. And if you make the comparison between what the scientists have discovered out in space, it used to be when I grew up that the scientists of space the physicists and so on, they'd be talking about the planets or the stars. And, that's the two basic things that are out in space. It must be either, and planets are limited to our solar system. We weren't able to see other planets and other systems back when I was young. And it was just those matter level stuff. Space was a voidness, a total emptiness. That's what defined space back then. But now the scientists are getting a little smarter, and they're starting to look at what is between the stars, what's between the planets, and what's between, especially between the star systems, and even between galaxies now. And they're finding these connecting energies that connect the entire universe. And more and more they're discovering different aspects about that. And it's becoming more and more important as we go along. And similarly, if we look inside our own bodies at what's called that interstitial fluid, which exists between all the cells, between the organs of the body, and it's like the information highway and the nutrition and septic system all built into one. Well, imagine if we could get our energy directly from that system rather than having it go through our mouth down into our digestive system, built into our blood, and then back into the interstitial fluid to provide that nutrition to the cells. So, as Mr. Keshe likes to say, maybe it's time to cut out the middleman and go direct. And perhaps we can absorb the cosmic rays which exist in that interstitial fluid of the universe and absorb it into our personal interstitial fluid and makes a connection in that regard. Perhaps I'm putting this forward as a perhaps kind of idea to stimulate some conversation, let's say.
Rick, isn't that interstitial fluid part of the blood? Because I remember the blood turns red at certain point or where certain location. So isn't that interstitial fluid part of the blood that gives that magnetic gravitational essence?
Well, the blood has a connection, but the fluid itself is actually more like gans or saliva. It's more of a clear type fluid. If you cut yourself open, you'll get some blood, but you'll also see that there's a fluid that comes out, like a clear fluid, and that's part of what repairs the wound and goes about the whole process of rejuvenation and keeps the cells organized and so on. It's a information highway, which is the blood also is in that regard, but there's the blood-brain barrier, and the blood flows through the veins and arteries of the body, as opposed to the interstitial fluid, which is in between the veins, arteries, and other things. It's the largest organ of the body, they say. Where the skin used to be the largest organ, and the liver before that. But now the interstitial fluid appears to be the largest organ, similar to space. The plasma between the star systems and between the galaxies is greater than the plasma of the stars themselves. It's all the dark matter that the 85% of the universe they couldn't account for is sitting right there in front of our face as the interstitial fluid of the universe.
Or the transitional plasma.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's the thing about it. And if you want to cut out the middleman.
So it will say that is something that holds all the organs together. It has some type of fabric. So every part of the organ inside our body.
Well, it's more like jelly, so I don't know but it flows. It's able to flow information instantly through the body. It doesn't take much time at all. It's part of the sort of nervous system in a way.
I think what Rick is trying to point out is what we see in the body of the man, we see in the universe as well, and vice versa.
Yeah, and the universe has its blood system in a way too. It's got a certain fields that go out like fibers of, blood vessels and that kind of thing. But it also has the interstitial fluid, which is more like the hydrogens that connect the universes. And Mr. Keshe has talked about hydrogen being the connector in the universe, and it exists everywhere.
I was trying to see, Rick, like if we have the knowledge that when you reduce the blood pressure, then the soul has room to move or be dynamic or expand. So reducing that blood pressure in connection with this interstitial fluid, I look at it as it has it's like blood pressure is inside, interstitial fluid is outside. Blood is inside, interstitial fluid is outside. So, but then the blood is inside our body. So for us to reduce the blood pressure inside our body, then that fluid has to have some type of either magnetic field that has a reduction for that blood to be dynamic, either to reduce and then open up the soul. I don't know if you understand. It's like 3 layers of the skin. But now you are looking at the whole envelope, the interstitial fluid in that entire vacuum. So there has to be that connection, and it's fluid. So, but for us to remove the soul, you have to reduce the blood pressure. So how do you reduce the blood pressure? Either by breathing. So you're breathing, you're contracting the lungs, but then there's all fluid around it. So what is the fluid doing? So what is the function of that interstitial fluid in relation to that diaphragm of the reduction of breathing? To also reduce the blood pressure. So interstitial fluid has to have connection with the blood.
Sure, it'll have connection with the blood, has connection with your digestive system, has connection with everything. This is the great, they call it the information highway of the body. And it's not just a one-way information, it's two-way, because it's both the septic system and the nutrition system built into one. And so if the septic system gets overwhelmed, then you don't feel well and you get sick. And if the nutrition system is not providing enough nutrition, then again, you might get sick. But on the other hand, if you're fasting, the information highway delivers stem cells, which get stimulated and start regenerating after 24 hours of fasting. And all that's associated with that information highway of the interstitial fluid. When it gets all gummed up with heavy fuel that we eat and drink as humans, it can foul up the system and it slows down, and then you get sick. And that's part of maintenance of our interstitial fluid should be our prime goal in healthy living. But if you ask 95% of doctors, they wouldn't even know what you're talking about, in spite of doctors discovering that that was true a few years ago, and they announced it, and it became the new teaching to those who know. It probably hasn't changed in the medical text yet, but it often takes 20, 30, or 50 years for those medical texts to change according to the latest science. So, but for me personally, I wouldn't trust a doctor that doesn't know about interstitial fluid, because if they don't, then they don't know about how to treat the human body, basically.
Yes, I will also say this, that when we say a blood pressure, a kidney failure, or we separate everything. This is about this liquid, this oneness, this spacious ocean where the rivers are coming like arteries and all. And it connects everything. We are connected with this space, this fluid, this oneness. We have to be in this emotional balance, you know. And when we got this emotional balance, then we understand how to be in this oneness. Because we have been separated. We have been separated from thousands of years about this knowledge, that there's this oneness. As we are in one planet, one nation, one race. Why we are doing this? We want to come, every being to come in this oneness. This is the fluid. This is the fluid of oneness. We have to come in. We have to balance our emotions. We have to detach from what we don't need. Then we come in this fluid. Here in India, we say the celestial river. This is all about this plasma, this liquid, the white celestial river, they say. So when we are in the emotional balance, many say in these meditations and all, but we don't need the meditation. If they do, that is good. But then we are in this oneness. Nothing is separate. So this is the knowledge now we are in. So this precious liquid from the space, joining us, giving us this opportunity to join with the ocean of love of the universal community. In inside you, that is the most important thing. Inside you, this liquid flows, this cosmic river. I will say this cosmic river, this white liquid is cosmic river. River. You ask, you will get it. That, that's the way we are now in this position. So thank you, my dear.
What
Thank you,
a,
Ike, my dear.
that's a
Yeah,
beautiful
thank
way
you.
to put it, Shweta. Very nicely done. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, my dear. Thank you, Moshfik, Mark, my dear. Thank you.
Okay, well, a bit of a sidetrack there, but I think it was a good one. I'll just quickly read a comment from Dankin in our chat here. It says, hello, Rick. I have 7 people in the workshop meeting, Zoom teaching. They understand things around the world. Uh, they are for everyone here, and bless all. And he has to go now. Okay, thank you, Dankin, for checking in from Africa. I think probably from Kenya. I imagine they might be in Tanzania, even somewhere in that area.
Hi,
All right.
Rick. Dean
Thank you,
here.
Duncan,
Can I
my
say
dear.
something? Sorry, Sweater. Go ahead.
Of course, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Welcome.
Thank you. So, Rick, I've just been listening to the conversation and all the wonderful knowledge that's being shared, and the energies that are, being passed back and forward. The soul elevation that is taking place as we speak about these interactions and the transmutation. It always reminds me some of the words that were spoken today of the when Mr. Keshe stood up on stage once some time ago and showed an empty box of the universe and those interaction of the cosmic rays that are in everything. The original ray that came and interacted with billions and billions of energies and created all that we experience in the matter state world of planet Earth. And this transmutation and what MOSFET was speaking about, this ability now to actually to recall centralized energies from a position, and very much about what you were just speaking about, Rick, in this space gap, this new fluid, as you've been speaking about, where we can connect to this energy source and transmute and create as we wish. And it's fascinating to me that we can now experience that mankind is going to go through a very big evolutionary jump when it realizes that you won't be able to say something and then not do something or think something. So you're going to have a position where, as it was spoken about earlier, where you're going to have people that stand in a position of authority, speaking words, and the soul of the man knows it's not true. And so, how will these people, these entities, then be able to organize around their misplaced intentions? And we all know that if you have a reality, if you don't create your own reality, somebody will give it to you. And so when we realize that we can transmute from a position and create a beautiful interaction we use the matter brain thought to create, but we also, if we can get in touch with the soul in that position, that's in that energy state of the space gap, then we can start to bring a reality forward and formulate it. And it's interesting that it was said by Mr. Keshe that we will have it where once one is enlightened, all will be enlightened. And so when one soul receives the knowledge, it's going to be shared across the planet instantaneously. So that zero time communication. And that changes the game. That changes everything for all of us. And we all know that that moment is now, is present, because the knowledge has been transferred that we can all appreciate and understand what is happening right now. We all feel that many energies have taken place outside of the planet. So on a soul level, the soul may be positioned outside and the physicality in this sphere of the planet Earth. But we feel the energies, the cosmic energies that have been changing, and many people have been reporting of massive energy bursts and continuous energy bursts. And we are feeling that in our physical forms. I'm sure the soul is interacting with it in many, many different ways. And it's interesting that we all are starting to elevate together, because when one elevates, the soul is connected to all the other souls. So whatever field strength the soul has, or the soul of physicality has, is still going to receive an elevation to whatever position is right for you, where you need to be. And this is all going to be present in this transmutation of time that is present for each and every one of us. And it always amazes me that when we talk about the physicality and we're present, for a lifetime, and we interact in a way that we believe is interacting with others, other physicalities, the soul has no time structure. It's outside of this sphere, so it interacts in a different way. So it can step forward and receive certain energies and informations, passes on to the physicality, and then the physicality can respond in its slowed down fields of the matter state. And I think this will be a transmutation as more and more start to understand this. This will, create. It will be impossible to create in the wrong way soon. It probably already is. It's probably present already. It's just just the way that we receive the energies, and we don't have the full knowledge to be able to interact in the correct way. But when we understand it and we feel it, when we really feel it, and as I spoke about a little bit earlier, I think we all are starting to feel this transition, this transmutation that is taking place across the planet. We're traveling through a void of cosmic interactions in this very moment. And the interactions of all the planetary, the solar systems and the universes are all interacting with us. And we are present in a physical form, and the soul is detached from this and receives a different energy and then gives that energy to us so that we receive it in a transmutation in this precise moment. So it's interesting times with us right now, and I'm sure many souls in a physical form that need a different energy or a different transmutation sense will come into line with what we've spoken about in the past, which is this thinking, speaking, and acting in a certain way. And that transmutation is happening right now on a soul level. It's happened. It's there, present. On a physical form, we have to wait a little while because the body needs to catch up. But it's already taken place. And as Mr. Keshe said many times, and the knowledge seekers all know this, there's no going back. It's already the process has started. So enjoy the ride. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Rick. I think I'll let somebody else say something now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my dear Dean. Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you, Sweater. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, and as Mark alludes to in the chat here, we can the conversation of more details about the ins and outs of transmutation and techniques and various other conversations. Mark says, hope Rick opens the reality of the illusion of the physicality, even though we seem to touch, smell, and feel and are convinced of its reality in the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group. Thank you, Mark, for that plug. And yes, the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group is a good place for carrying on some of the details of the various topics that we touch on here. And that will be tomorrow, Wednesday, September 3rd, starting at 7 a.m. Central European Time. We usually go for 4 or 5 hours in that program. Okay, well, let's move along, I guess, here. Let me see, I guess we have...
Me?
Sure, go ahead, Mark.
Okay, transmutation test. And I had written, let me just go back here. Can you still hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Are you aware that MTK announced in the 829 session, September session would be on 9/5? Is this correct, if you're aware? Or a follow-up from August session? Yes, this Friday is the session of September. Not a follow-up, but the September date brought forward. Maybe we can look you're in the store. Let me get out of that. You're in the store. What is the store saying? Is the September date 26? No, it's actually September 5th. And that was announced in the last session. Again, this is about keeping the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. They're getting very good results in these sessions. And we're also getting some results in the session. Apparently, the data being collected is amazing. Again, we're not privy to exactly the data, but we have seen some of the graphs, and we're seeing how knowledge and feeding and other things are being transferred on the energy level rather than the... Whoops, let's see what happened here. Okay, so again, there's still time to sign up for this session. Even though it wasn't edited in the store, it is confirmed from a source that it is...
It's in the store here now. I just went live with the store site, and it does list September 5th rather than September 25th, I think it was.
I guess that's just been recent.
So thanks for pointing that out, Mark. That's a pretty big change. It's coming up rather rapidly.
And of course, Mr. Keshe has been asking people to write to them about what you've experienced in the Knowledge Seekers Workshop. As we discussed earlier, things are embedded within there that may touch you or change something in your physicality or your emotions or other things. Sometimes it takes time for the energies to settle in. So I wrote back to the Keshe Foundation. This is my experience or part of my experience, what I could recall. Just a few observations of the last session, 7/29/25. As I reported in USKF TV and Keshe American Knowledge Team, the audio of my experience that you can listen to. The first hour, I noticed small individual lights appeared in my view with eyes closed, wearing the vision goggles. Tried to give into the light, but faded away after a couple of seconds. This happened a number of times. Also saw a pattern of 3 small lights. Again, these kind of tiny lights that you might see a tree dressed up in. This is just my adding to this. These small, tiny lights, but they appeared. Pattern of 3 lights, but all quickly faded from view. Then I tried connecting to Nancy, my mother. Had a picture of her in front of me. Apparently she wasn't available, maybe busy at the time. And of course, my soul of physicality, I'm adding this. Well, I did say this in here. The soul of physicality said, okay, strike 2. You tried with the lights, you tried with the mother, you're striking out. So I thought, and I turned my attention. So I started to give to the system and to the others in the system. I was recalling when Mr. Keshe said when we were initially playing with the feeding, that first we started to take from the system, and it didn't work as well as another session where we started to give to the system and then we received. So I turned my attention, so I started to give to the system and the others in the session. Later in the first hour, the dots returned and started to populate in my view. In other words, coalescing lights as dots together started moving from bottom to top, vertically flowing. That is when I realized I was seeing some of the graphs presented in the previous Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Also noticed them moving horizontally, first as a group of individual lights, then taking the pattern of a solid line, flowing both vertical and horizontal, but not at the same time. First vertical solid, then horizontal solid. Dynamic for sure, as they morphed together. This is when I realized I was seeing the graphs, but I never asked or tried to generate these images. Thought this was interesting the way it happened. Eventually all faded. Was I being processed? Was our group, or was it humanity? I was wondering. The second hour, the time seemed to be moving slower than usual. Tried again to reach mom. And after a few tries, and again giving to the system and the others, something said, try and remember her smell, the lingering powder, perfume, hairspray when we hugged in the past. I also realized that she probably didn't look as she did on this planet. Never smelled her in physicality, but knew I embraced her on energy level through the soul, not physicality. I was pleased and felt a sense of confirmation we connected. The third hour, not much to report, went from sitting in a chair to laying horizontally. Felt warm, smiling, happy. Completeness, not fully, but a sense of it. I do remember emotion of contentment. Hope this adds to our work, and thank you for this opportunity. So that's what I reported back to the Keshe Foundation. And again, I thought with these lights disappearing, because we had some sessions with light, he calls it enlightenment. It's not actually a real light. And when you see the 2 lights, try to give into the one of these lights or the second light, or merge them together and get it to open up. And this is, when you see the second light, you're ready for the transmutation. So I was doing that. But again, the soul of physicality kept saying, no, they're fading away. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with me. You're not doing it correctly, and so on. So this is where maybe, again, we see the collapse in the screen, I don't know, or on those graphs. But that was my experience. And again, just building more confidence in myself and capabilities and what we can do. And of course, the system is there to support us till we get to be at a more elevated or enlightened point. But it's all a growing process, and we're all growing collectively and individually together into this knowledge. So everyone probably has a different experience that they reported, but that was mine. You're all welcome to join us. Keep the Keshe Foundation free. It's all being developed for humanity. It's not so much for you as an individual, although we've heard many people have reported receiving gifts or small packages where something changes for the big or for the small within their own physicality. And again, they're moving this session up. I'm not exactly sure why, but whatever is being reported by the others. There were probably about 40 or more people in the session, something along that line. So there's many people participating, but we don't need everyone, although everyone will benefit from what's going on in these sessions. And again, as Mr. Keshe said, if he were just to take care of his personal life and nothing for the foundation, he could have lived very well. But he came much more infatuated with raising the level of humanity and to bring us all together into this permanent peaceful condition. Not only humanity, but all the other creatures on this planet. Apparently, their lymph is going to be touched too, where the lymph doesn't have to extract the energy from the intestine, but it'll just be in the environment. And I think we'll be as fully satisfied with this feeding as we are when we consume, and probably more healthy and increase the longevity for it. So that's what I'd like to share. Anyone else?
Yeah, hello. Okay. You hear me? Yes,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I think I heard you something about the time passing fast.
Slow.
Anyway.
It started there, the second hour, for some reason, I said, time is moving very slow. It seems like it's moving very slow.
Yeah, I think I was, I think, I don't remember now exactly what I did, but I know it was very useful. And I didn't know the directive because I had problem getting into, so I didn't know the directive at first. So I just went to the dark, unconscious points in my life, just to see what's going on. And I think it was successful. I don't remember exactly. But at the same time, after a few minutes which I get in, the time was going very fast. I watched, I thought it's 20 minutes, it was 1 hour and a half. Like the 3 hours for me, like half hour. And it has continued almost the day after and also today. I'm busy and then I see 1 hour and a half has passed and I don't notice. I don't know if anybody else has had this thing. Okay, so I still had that today. So the time goes faster than I have it in my mind. So I don't know what it is exactly. What's the explanation of it?
Yes, he does exert different energies, I think, on different people or collectively. I believe there's a number of tests or trying different things in the background. I'm not sure. But he did ask to bring a picture of someone you wanted to connect with, whether it was a pet or something else. And of course, in the beginning of the session, he said you can use any sort of devices you want, the communication, the cosmic ray balls, or whatever, and you can go any place you want as well.
Okay. So I didn't know that. But anyway, I think I feel like the change is coming. Yeah, what happened? I think I'm more, what is it? I'm more kind of grateful, more grateful. And I enjoy the 1 minute in here, 1 minute there of relaxing. I really enjoy that more than before. That's a good thing I got from this whole thing also, which I appreciate. So he said that it would continue next week, right? The same thing, the
This
same
Friday. This Friday.
with picture, with
Oh,
picture.
no, I'm sure we'll hear something announced on Thursday about the follow-up session, perhaps,
Yeah,
with more
but
crowd.
yeah, it was great anyway. At first, I was very slow the first times of transmission. I mean, it was slow rather. I was doing it. I was hoping, but now I think it's faster. It's faster. I'm getting more connected with my solar physicality and my soul. I'm somebody here which is not the same point of view than me. So, but it's okay. Um, um, and I'm very grateful. I really have a feeling now of the change, and I'm more hopeful for future, especially after the teaching of Thursday. Um, I was listening in a taxi when you were talking, so I couldn't add anything. Uh, what he said, that when somebody gets enlightened by knowledge, the others who are listening, in their soul of physicality, they enlighten, because it was in the light. The light was in the middle. Up, I think, is the soul of the man, and down is physicality. And so that was really mind blowing things I was watching. So I had to listen twice to understand this breakthrough in human history, maybe, I think. Yeah, thank you very much.
Keep Keshe Foundation free, volunteer. And then, of course, again, our responsibility, now that we're aware of part of this operation of this One Nation network, again, internal to the Keshe Foundation initially, and then extending. So the coins, the stock company, the transmutation sessions, the works going on politically in the background, all connected, the cosmic ray balls, the Gans Waters re-release, all as part of no one actually knows, maybe Mr. Keshe in the universal community, what he's building on this planet, but we're offered to take part, and it's our responsibility to bring it and to gift it back to humanity. And this is the way it's being set up. An ID card, a coin, and a network to start. Yes. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, Irmgard has a hand up here, so perhaps we can address that now. Go ahead.
Yeah, last week, 2 days before the Friday session, I lost a dear friend. She passed over very gently and quietly with her breath just slowing until it had stopped. And my husband had always said, he's worried about me. He says, you don't have any friends. Because I don't have the ordinary friends. I have the Keshe friends. And the ordinary friends, we don't share very much in common these days, it seems like. But so I had made a list of all the people that had passed that were very close to me. And I was aware that they were not removed, that the distance or the boundary between the living and the dead was not very distinct. Especially during the Friday session, I was out in the backyard at 3 a.m. First, I didn't really like to wake up from the alarm clock at 3 a.m. Was a little grumpy, and I had a backache. Between the two, I ended up walking to relieve the ache. And I was walking in my backyard trying to avoid people's security lights and just communing with my vertical friends. And I felt really rich. And there was a scent of flowers, very distinct sense of flowers. And then I could see the flowers. There were white flowers in the night, and you could still see them. So I felt really connected to all these living things, and my deceased friends were right there. And the other friends, the other acquaintances, let's call it that, after the first hour, I left the yard and I walked through the neighborhood, and I realized that there were people there apparently in the neighborhood who I had never acknowledged in that manner, that they also loved their vertical friends, and they had designed their yards with beautiful plants. And it was really the first time I really acknowledged that. And I even didn't mind the lights as much as I usually do, the LED street lighting, and the concrete sidewalk, which annoys me because I don't have contact to the earth. But it didn't do that this time. I was in a different state of peace and unity among the two sides of the divide. That was very wonderful. That was the basic learning, was that I was really connected. I still am connected with the other side. And I feel like my parents or whoever else, my friends that I stayed with to the last breath, they're right here with me. Not so much my dogs, surprisingly, but the people. My dog's always with me, but the people were like, I could just talk to them and they were right present. And that was a wonderful gift. That's what and then above me in the yard, between the shadows of my vertical friends, there was the sky with tons and tons and tons of stars. So I really felt very delighted. And then, it was like this connectedness of all the beings from before and the beings in the present time, of all the different categories of being, the vertical and horizontal and people and all that stuff, that all kind of flowed together. And it was a very wonderful experience. That's all.
So beautiful, Limkar. You have shared your experience. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, my dear. Thank you.
Yes, that's a wonderful testimonial, Erm. And speaking of testimonials, we have the testimonials public meeting for testimonials, it's called, coming up on Monday, following Monday. That's the 8th of September. And that program will start at the 8 p.m. Central European time. And it's an excellent avenue for those that do have testimonials. Something like Irmgard has said, or maybe you're experimenting with Ganses or some other aspect of the plasma technology that's influenced you in some way. And going to the public meeting for testimonials is, in a way, it's a way to pay back for your experiences and your knowledge that's been imparted, and your new understandings and so on can come out in that workshop. So please consider that if you're listening.
I have one other thing to share, and this is the North American Knowledge Team on Sunday afternoons here. When Alex teaches, I have a very difficult time following because he talks really fast and the pictures, all that stuff. I'm not putting it together intellectually at all. However, I wouldn't miss it because I am getting all kinds of energy from that teaching. So that's different. So I was thinking of maybe asking Mr. Keshe to isolate Alex's diagram on Sunday afternoons here to see what happens between people and him there, if he is already one of those universal teachers or not, or just a thought. That's all.
Yes, same correct. He's a beautiful, beautiful teacher indeed. Very beautiful indeed. The energy is very, very, very beautiful. We are all experiencing that.
With
Keshe
the other
Foundation.
ones, with the
Yeah,
other ones where I follow the words.
yeah.
I follow the words, so I don't have that same
Mm.
experience. But when I can't follow the words, then I just sense the energy.
Yes.
There may
You
be
know,
more, more people
yeah.
who have that.
You know, Imgard. Yes, of course. You know, Imgard, as
Yeah.
as I don't use this word fortunate all the time, but this time I feel so fortunate that we have all the beautiful teachers in Keshe Foundation, and we are here in the now moment. Imgard, that is so beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
for your thank you, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
Salam, namaste, salute. Thank you.
Irmgard, it's Dean here. I'd just like to say that I was listening to the North American NACT literally yesterday, and I'm starting to have, I do with many of the people that speak here, the same interactions I used to have with Mr. Keshe, where he would say something, or I would interact, it would be instantaneous, that I would have something would happen within my environment or an emotion or something connected to it. And it was, very specific and very meaningful in that precise moment. And it was connected. And I'm getting that with Alex now. When I listened to his teachings, he was saying things and the connection was very direct and very quick. And I've had the same with Mark and many of the people that have worked here, Rick, and many of the people that are present. Is starting to get the same interaction, as I said, as Mr. Keshe was. So I know that the souls are starting to connect and the energies are starting to form, and we're starting to get this instant communication and that this feeling of this oneness, and the ability to telepathically, or whatever you want to call it, to connect, and understand that as the spoken word is given, even if it's a later date, a recording, like with Mr. Keshe, you still receive the energy. You still receive the energy transfer, the transmutation of the knowledge and what's being presented, you still receive it at any moment, which
It's
is
just
very special.
it's just when I don't follow the words, I'm not distracted by the meaning of the words, the matter level meaning of the words. That's why I notice it more when I don't follow the words.
Mm-hmm. That's a different interaction that I'm having when the word, I don't know, maybe I haven't really thought about it like that. I haven't used that rational way of thinking.
Maybe
Maybe
it's
it is.
maybe it's kind of like listening to the interstitial fluid, which is like the emotion, compared
Right.
to the physicality, which is like the words.
Exactly.
In a way.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Rick, it's more of connection. When you connect, you're feeling connected. So don't worry about the physical walls, because then that's just a conversion. Because remember, it's all fields. When you feel
Right.
connected, you always want to be in there to listen. But then you are struggling to piece the words, and that's
Right.
the physical words. But the essence is the connection, which you can actually relate after the teaching to other things, because you already have the essence.
Right.
Exactly. And if you relate that to our politicians and we listen to their words, perhaps we should listen to their emotion underneath the words that they are perhaps suppressing or not expressing so readily. And, you know, they might be all enthusiastic about something, but they know there's something underneath that's not correct. Well, we'll feel that with our, we listen with the bell of truth, like Imgard is talking about, rather than our ears of the physicality, which go through so many different filters. By the time the words get through to our brain, we've already pre-filtered it so much, and we're conditioned to it and so on, to respond to certain words habitually. Well, you can bypass all that and bypass the middleman, as we were talking about earlier, and go direct with the emotion, the true emotion, that is. And that eventually gets down to love. And if that politician does not have that unconditional love underneath the words, and if it's not coming from the essence, where is it coming from? And perhaps we can discern that more easily in the near future as we go along, and we become more open to the energies of the universe.
Interesting. Mr. Keshe had mentioned that in the future, voters, if there still are voters, will ask, has this candidate been processed? Have they gone through the system? And this will influence their voting, perhaps.
Yes, right. Perhaps we'll just be able to tell by listening whether someone has been enlightened, whether they've elevated themselves or not. And
right.
We'll just stop listening to those that aren't tuned in.
Are they just making false promises, or are they opportunists, or are they sincere?
Yes, right. And maybe that'll be the new currency of the world, will be sincerity rather and love, rather than ambition and competition and all of that.
So you see, MGAD, you are training yourself. You are, at least now we can actually get that type of interaction. We don't need to worry about your words. You're already there. It's beautiful.
And it's funny how you mentioned, Irmgard, about people saying that you don't have friends and whatnot. But at the same time, through this interaction with the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation and just the general upgrading that seems to be occurring with humanity, when you went on your walk, you were feeling like empathy for the people around you and connecting in a way, at least, with those around that you never connected with before, and you've been in that community for a number of years, I think, and yet when you felt more elevated, you were feeling those connections somehow. You felt their gardens and whatnot, and knew there were people behind that, the entities behind that you could connect with. So that seems interesting.
Again, opening up the mystery of the matter state of the entity to its energies.
I have one more comment, and that is Azar, a couple messages ago, sent us a meditation by Wayne Dyer. If you remember, I don't know, maybe he didn't listen to it. I listened to it, and then I listened to it as a way to elevate someone like Netanyahu. And I thought, wow, this meditation says just exactly what I need to say or think in my mind to be able to elevate someone who is so difficult for me to elevate otherwise. So if you get a chance, just go back to that. It was like last week, I think, I don't know, but a recent one. And I found it very helpful, and I want to use it again to elevate people like that I really have a difficult time with. So I found that very helpful.
God, it's you have to get past the physicality.
Right.
You go from your soul to the soul, and then you're not interacting with the body. So it doesn't matter what they've done or what you feel they've done.
Yeah.
So that energy does, you just give into the most incredible, beautiful soul that
Yeah.
we all have.
And I found those words very helpful for me to get there.
Yeah, super. Yeah. It's that place of peace and balance with inside yourself, and then view what's outside of you. You're just viewing it, but within you're everything.
Yeah, with those words, it was more like me giving a gift to that person. You know, and it was in words that I found very helpful to be able to get to a place of giving a gift. That's all.
So sometimes words can be distracting, and sometimes words can be elevating. So we have to use them carefully.
Or guiding. Let's say guiding. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all.
Okay, well, I've got a video to play here with the Keshe coin and announcements from the 604th knowledge. Oh, it says 605th Keshe coin. I think, Lissy, do you mean 604th that we've already had pre-recorded? I don't know of announcements from the 605th that's connected with the Keshe coin. Well, I think this is what she means, so I'm just going to play it here. So we'll go ahead with that.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.
Okay, we're back again at the 604th Knowledge Seekers Workshop and ready to begin the second part. And but before we begin with questions, we have comments from Mr. Keshe. I'm sure he's got some updates and things he'd like to say before we begin. So please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
As usual. Yes, thank you very much. We emphasize on increasing the number of the units, universal communication units we put out, that we can secure that no nation, no government, no person can dictate the position and think they're in position of dictating the future of humanity. In a way, every nation, every culture has an equal say. It has to come from knowledge seekers that it goes back to humanity. And as I said, we only respect things when we pay for it, unfortunately, in the race of the man. And secondly, we have put all resources into bringing these things one step at a time forward. We still have a long way to go, even though many of you working very hard on you purchase many to be given to the others and some you put yourself. We still need a large number of these to be spread. We have not reached the target we are looking for, and we need to. And as I said, there was some misunderstanding with the knowledge seekers. These units will start going out somewhere in September, October, in the batches of like 200, 250, because the 2 parts, 3 parts has to come together to be there. And then as we perfect the system, or if there's any glitches anywhere, in a large numbers after October, November, we'll start sending out where we sort out if there's any problem, when it needs anything with that mass. As many of you have supported us, you can even tell us what to do. We received a number of knowledge seekers has bought 1 or 2 for themselves, and they're given 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 to be given to the other knowledge seekers. We receive requests from knowledge seekers, can we have 1 of them? We have units which are investment units, which means the person who's bought it wants to collect the coins as an income for the future. So the system is on you to run, has no return. We have donations which will be given to universities, and the income from it will generate funds for the university for research and development, not wages for what we call professors. Then we have those who want to be given to other knowledge seekers. That is the discretion of the Keshe Foundation. We have to explain to you, once you receive these parts, you're part of the structure of the Keshe Foundation. Every system comes with a card which identifies you. And every system in the background remotely controlled by the monitors, by the people who run the thing to understand everything is correct. We look at it this way. The data is secure, safe, but everyone has the data. So I don't need to steal the data to give something because I have access to the email, or I have access to the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation, or the list of the knowledge seekers on it, because everybody has access to everything according to their need and time.
Okay, I've just found the video with the announcements from the last Knowledge Seekers workshop, so I'll play those announcements now instead of the one that we've already heard before. So let me just share that now.
Spreading the numbers that it cannot be hacked and it can become independent system.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then, because we know when we give it a little push, then we can sell definitely more of them. So then we will continue.
Yeah. But if you look at it, we are about 150 nations, or what you call territories, something in that region. And if you divide to 10,000 by that, it's around about 70, 80 per nation minimum.
Yeah, okay.
But then you have the places like United States, you have Chinese. Chinese are very slow responding. I don't know what they're doing. And then you have like Russia and others, United States and Brazil and the rest. It needs to come in that we cover. And there's a lot of things which is just going to be added to bring what we call, to achieve what we are planning to do. These become very much the center of, if 1 or 2 or 10 or hundreds damage taken out or whatever, there's still another 9,000 something behind to keep the network going.
Well, thank you. That's great.
We are working on that direction. There are knowledge seekers who have bought, or they have ordered, or they plan to give donations or buy 50, 100 units that it goes to universities, it goes to where it can work. And then we spread that thing. We estimate it'll take us about a year to 2 years to fully put the 10,000 out. You have to understand, it's not just us. All the systems have to be manufactured. From the unit side, it's not that problem. For creating the universal antennas is what it takes time. It's an elaborate job, and it's not an easy thing. And then testing it and connecting it and the rest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This system, a lot of people ask about the cards. Without the cards, you cannot obtain the coins. So you need to buy the card. And it's on that card is like your bank card. It's like information about what you have and what you can use or spend through that card. Nobody can spend it. Nobody can use it. You have that card, all your data, what you have is in there. And we try to keep a track record in the system that if anything goes missing and is genuine, it can be replaced. And we're looking most probably in the coming time with what is available to be able to block the stolen cards or stolen coins. In a way, it's not worth doing it. In a way, we have structures that most probably doesn't matter if we decide numbers are not there. You cannot use it, doesn't matter how many of it you have stolen. We have a case, but let me explain to you why I look at this way. Originally, we have got different numbers, and then it came to different numbers. At the moment, if you're a head of a state, which a lot of heads of a state go in this direction, they get a lot of bribes. And usually these bribes, nowadays, when it's in a cash form, it doesn't show, and it can be kept. And when it's in the larger scales, government come in, intervene, and they do. One of the world presidents, when he was in power, he's dead now. They actually killed him. He stole in one part $80 billion from his nation in contracts, inflating the contracts. And then he took this money from euro in notes, in container, to
use it for another job, because he used it for a job, became very successful, that cycle of stealing. And when this money, 80 billion, arrived in another nation, the European bank which issued it, they found out, and they canceled the numbers on the notes. They're just not even worth carrying the container, because these notes cannot be spent. In a way, it's blocked. In a way, it does not exist. It's just a piece of paper which has no value as spending. And it's sitting there, I know, for about 8-10 years. We have, and we will set up a structure with this, that if anybody steals and we come across it, we replenish, and that money will come back in for spending on the others' need in a lot of ways. Hopefully after January, when all this is set up properly, I'll be traveling across the planet, as many places as we can do, to give these coins to the nations, to the leaders of the nations, as a trustee of the civil citizens. And then we explain how it works, and it just needs another maybe 4 or 5 months. We have to get there. Then it goes back to what we say. We back it with a coin, we back it with the profit, and then we back it with the material. And this is very interesting, because I was talking to some government officials. They said, how is this going to work? I want the coin worth 1,000. I want gold for it. I said, we print it. It's backed by gold. We are the only coin which is backed by gold when it becomes a commercial entity. But at the moment, it's just within the structure of the Keshe Foundation, and it's a game coin, in a way you call it. But there's a lot to be done, and hopefully I'm there to see it through, and it's the responsibility of knowledge seekers to make sure it goes through, because if the cornerstones of, in a way, peace, you will understand more and more it comes. You cannot make a nation peaceful if you don't set the nation the facilities for it to be there, to teach, for people to feel the peace, that the nation becomes peaceful. And you don't measure it by the measure of happiness. You measure it by the level of comfort, and how people can spend more time to be enlightened or enlighten themselves, and to be sharing more than actually working on. We'll see how it goes. But everything is on the plan, everything is going. This units are cornerstone of delivering that, because then we go into spreading, using these antennas, creating a satellite. As I said to one of the officials in the past few days, if you understand it, when you have a satellite, it's only good for the man who has a mobile. The way we have set up, and the way this system will work, when the system with the 10,000 across this planet, hopefully some of it will go in the deepest oceans of this planet. I hope some knowledge seekers create that condition for it to be done. When we feed the man as an energy, we feed the cat, we feed the dog, we feed the lion, we feed the lamb. This is the change this technology is going to bring. This is the changes. Little units you think I'm buying, I get something from it, is set to do. We use the greed of the man, that he gets something for it, to bring that condition of the peace, because collectively we do it. So when it becomes operational, as you've seen in the pictures of today, one question brought the enlightenment, we use the same system to deliver energy to the body of the man. The lip of the man does not carry vitamin A, B, and C. The lip of the man carries a spectrum of the energies. And at a point when the body needs it, it changes to that material, to that cell. And it's the same. We deliver the energy. In the body of the man becomes the heart of the man. In the body of the lion becomes the heart of the lion. In the body of an ant becomes the heart of the ant. at the end it works the same system to give a life away. And then when you deliver at a certain energy level, you make the man a peaceful man. It's not just a man. The lion will feel the same. So does the cat and the ant. This is how it's going to be. Maybe 5 years, 10 years, and maybe even sooner.
Okay, moving back to our program here.
Yes, thank you, my dear. Needs and wishes, beautiful soul. And as our interactions have been already been happened with each other, we can proceed with the needs and wishes. So we, the Universal Council, give through our souls that Russia and Ukraine can find peace for the sake of all the families of the planet. Our wish is our command. This is I am present.
We, the Universal Council, give freely our soul to elevate the soul of the leaders to achieve peace in the Middle East now. And we are present.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the soul of the leaders to maintain and enhance peaceful cooperation between China and the West.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the souls of our brothers and sisters of India and Pakistan for peace and enlightenment now. Our wish is our command. We are present. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, beautiful souls. As we are here to serve Dr. B sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Swagatam into the beautiful energy of Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute organization. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the beautiful energies of all universal souls, all souls in existence, all souls in love. So please do join Love, Hug Keshe Foundation. Come home, welcome, and have the knowledge. It House of Mitra. So thank you so much, the Universal Council. Salam, Namaste, Salam.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Shweta. And let me just get my presentation. There we go. And thanks, Shweta, and to all the members and support members of the Universal Council for presenting today's 394th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. Well, that brings a close today's One Planet program. And our next public teaching workshop will be the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which starts tomorrow, Wednesday, September 3rd at 7 a.m. Central European Time, which is the same as 10 p.m. Pacific Time today on Tuesday. So if you're somewhere in between that time spread, you might like to attend the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, where we address some of the topics of the plasma technology. And if you have any questions or things you'd like to present, that's a good place to do it. Okay, let's move on to the end of our show.
Then, wah! Thank you.
Thank you,
Dance and clap, beautiful. Beautiful souls. Thank you so much. Blessings, be enjoy.
Thank you for your enthusiastic intro to our flight enhancement spaceship unit video to go out with here. And yes, you are very much allowed to clap and dance if you so feel inspired. Thank you again to all the members and support members for an interesting and inspirational program today. And thank you everyone for attending. Bye for now.